earth-shattering sound of a spacecraft liftoff, now almost commonplace. As familiar as space exploration may seem to many of us today, this spectacular and most ambitious of man's adventures will forever mark in its history the drama, the excitement, the courage of its early participants. One of these men is Air Force Colonel L. Gordon Cooper, Jr. With a distinguished military record and thousands of aircraft flight hours to his credit, Cooper entered into the dawn of a new career and a new era in April 1959 when he was selected as a Mercury astronaut, a pilot to the stars. May 15th, 1963. All the years of intensive training and preparation behind him, Colonel Cooper entered his Faith 7 spacecraft at Cape Kennedy. Then, at 8:04 a.m. Eastern Standard Time,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Roger, have a liftoff and the clock is operating. Sigma 7, Faith 7 on the way. Standing by to start the backup clock.
Roger. 3, 2, 1, mark.
Roger, and the backup clock is running.
orbiting the Earth 22 times, Gordon Cooper's flight lasted 34 hours, 19 minutes, and 49 seconds, and was the final successful flight of Project Mercury. For the mission, success. For the man, the exhilaration, the joy, the special feeling of spaceflight that only an astronaut can know.
This is a new and strange environment at first, this suddenly finding yourself in orbit, and want to take a few seconds time to think about this and see just what you're doing up here. It takes you a few minutes to really settle down. The added distraction is that there is the Earth in view out of the window. It is a tremendous distraction. You want to glue your eyes on the window and watch every little detail of everything that's going on there. But the many hours of training in the simulators that we have seem to take over, and you get right back on the flight plan and follow them pretty closely there and do the functions that you have planned on doing at the proper time.
In the fall of 1963, Cooper summed up the significance of Project Mercury.
Each flight, each man had observations to make that we could never have forecast, or he saw things that no one knew for sure that he would be able to see or wouldn't be able to see, or things that were completely unexpected. And these have contributed tremendously to the advancement of manned space flight. In fact, to the advancement of science as a whole. We feel, as a pilot group, that pilots are an integral part of space flight. I think that Mercury has shown that man is adaptable to this new and strange environment, and he can contribute immeasurably to the reliability and completion of space flights. The pilot has successfully completed 3 out of 4 orbital flights that an automatic system would not have. We have had 100% success on our manned flights. I think that we can hold Mercury up and say that it has been a real good example of a program that has run surprisingly close to its schedule.
Although Project Mercury had come to an end, Gordon Cooper was destined to participate in a much longer history-making exploration into space, the flight of Gemini 5. The period between August 21st and 29th, 1965, has gone down in history as the time when the United States broke a number of existing manned spaceflight records, a period, in fact, during which a number of such records were established. On February 8, 1965, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, announced the Gemini 5 flight crew, Command Pilot L. Gordon Cooper, Jr., and Pilot Charles Pete Conrad. Members of the backup crew were Pilot Elliot M.C., Jr., and the command pilot was Neil A. Armstrong, who a little more than 4 years later would be the first human being to set foot on the moon. As skillful and as prepared as astronauts are, there are moments in space when the mysterious, unexplainable happens. Listen now to this conversation between Gordon Cooper and Houston Control during the Gemini 5 flight.
I'd like to add one thing in there just for your information. When we first powered up this morning, after having been drifting for quite a while, all the thrusters were exceedingly sluggish, and we saw great globs of liquid coming out of them drifting by us when we were firing them in pulse mode.
Roger, roger. That's interesting, isn't it?
And I went to direct to see if we could clear them out, and it did seem to, and we were getting big globules of liquid going by us, but they cleared out.
Okay. We were wondering about a drop in fuel here, and that might have been where we lost some of it.
It could be. Well, in doing that last tracking experiment, we were having great difficulty getting on the radar test there. We were having quite a bit of trouble holding our attitude, and finally we were having to go to direct to get the platform aligned, and then we were fiddling around trying to find which thruster it was giving us the problem.
Roger.
Cooper and Conrad covered 120 revolutions of the Earth during Gemini 5, a total of 3,312,993 miles in an elapsed time of 190 hours, 56 minutes. A pleased Christopher Kraft, Assistant Director for Flight Operations, tells the two astronauts they have just passed the world record for space flights.
The flight director would like to speak to you for just a moment. Good morning, Gordo.
Yes, how are you?
How does it feel for the United States to be the new record holder?
At last, huh?
Roger. Congratulations.
Later, from the White House, a grateful President, Lyndon B. Johnson, delivered this personal message to Gordon Cooper and Pete Conrad.
Now, Gemini 5 will long be remembered and long honored for the courage of the crew and the competence of the team on the ground and the vision of all who dared conceive this great enterprise. We can only hope that your achievement will encourage all other nations to accept more fully what great accomplishments can be wrought by cooperating together in these new realms of infinity. So I just want to say, God bless you both. We're glad you're back. We shall be everlastingly proud of you, and we are so thankful for all the blessings that are ours.
Much has been said and written about man's venture into the universe around us. The technology is vast and impressive. The accomplishments are spectacular. But it remains for those select few who are most intimate with the awesome environment of other worlds to place such a gigantic effort in perspective. Speaking before a joint session of the United States Congress, astronaut L. Gordon Cooper presented the nation with this expression of humility and sincerity.
I'm not too much of a preacher, but while on the flight on the 17th orbit, I felt so inclined to put a small prayer onto the tape recorder of the spacecraft. It was over the middle of the Indian Ocean in the middle of the night. Things had been going so beautifully, everything had been working correctly, and it was an ideal flight. I've been encouraged to read a little transcript of this prayer as an ending. I would like to take this time to say a little prayer for all the people, including myself, involved in this launch operation. Father, thank you especially for letting me fly this flight. Thank you for the privilege of being able to be in this possession, to be in this wondrous place, seeing all these many startling, wonderful things that you have created. Help guide and direct all of us that we may shape our lives to be much better Christians, trying to help one another and to work with one another rather than fighting and bickering. Help us to complete this mission successfully. Help us in our future space endeavors that we may show the world that democracy really can compete and still are able to do things in a big way and are able to do research, development, and conduct many scientific and technical programs. Be with all our families. Give them guidance and encouragement, and let them know that everything will be okay. We ask in our name. Amen. Thank you.
Pilot to the Stars was produced as a special limited edition audio documentary as a community service.